welcome to another episode of Jodi Dancers Talks. Today we have Sundeep with us, and she has her own Instagram and YouTube page called Breaking the Silence. So firstly, we would like to say thank you for joining us today, Sundeep.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Well, we'll just get straight into it. We realised on your YouTube page when you were releasing these videos, you spoke about topics that probably aren't spoken about openly, which is obviously a good thing. And we noticed that you mentioned about abuse, not just the physical aspect, but the mental aspect. I mean, do you think this is something that's not spoken about widely within, especially within our community, but generally?
I think it's not spoken about openly, definitely not. I think there's two reasons to that. I think the first reason is because I don't think sometimes you don't know you're going through it, because it's a lot of manipulation. Well, for me it was, and the way I didn't know, like, you know, if someone's very good at manipulating what you're doing, you kind of think over what you're doing, and it makes you feel as though, oh no, you know, maybe I did something wrong. And it takes time for you to realize that, oh no, actually I'm not doing anything wrong, it's just it suits the person better. And you've just learned how to live with it, because it's life, especially when it's someone close to you. I think one of the reasons. And I think the second reason is, yes, because of our culture, it's not spoken of a lot because it's looked at, you know, people look upon it as so I think that, you know, they're the two reasons.
Which is a good point, especially with the shame aspect. But when you said about, oh, you know, you think, oh, it's like a manipulation, do you think those sort of habits, even when you're kind of breaking away from it or getting out of that point, is there still that manipulation there in the back of people's minds, you feel?
You mean like in regards to you questioning?
Do you think they would still question themselves a lot?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because it's confusing, isn't it? It's kind of like when you're in a marriage, you're meant to be very close to your spouse. And you tell this person everything, and, you know, vice versa. And then when you go through any sort of, you know, we call it abuse. For me, it was like more manipulation, and we were two different type of people. And, you know, there was kids involved. So yeah, you do question it, because, you know, it's like, oh no, like, what is my family going to think, and what are neighbors going to think? I mean, who cares what the neighbors are going to think? But trust me, it runs your head. You know, you just kind of think, what is that person going to think? And oh, I wanted it to be a fairy tale, and so it's difficult.
So in terms of all those emotions people feel just generally, what kind of tips would you give? Because I get the sense of like paranoia, anxiety, all the sort of common traits of feeling
Absolutely.
So what sort of tips would you give people to sort of try and overcome it slowly, step by step?
You need to believe in yourself. You know, that is 100%. You know, when you question yourself, because everyone does this, and it sounds madness, but you always kind of have that conversation with yourself, like, am I doing the right thing? What are people going to think? Am I setting the right example for my kids? You know, it's not something heard of in our culture. Well, it is, but not so much. You need to be strong. If it's something you have to do for yourself, it doesn't matter what you have to confront. You have to live your truth. You know, that's something that I kind of resonate with a lot. I have to live my truth. You know, I've got siblings, and, you know, they haven't been through what I've been through. They don't understand what I've been through. Same with friends and family, you know? But my truth is, I was going through that, and I have to be strong for myself and my kids, and I have to set a good example. So I think the way to go through it is, one, you know, you be strong for yourself, because no one's going to come and do it for you. You know, and I think two, you know, you just need to, any kind of negativity, I think the best thing to do is just block it out. You know, so it could be, it's quite sad sometimes, because you think, you know, this person's going to be there for me, but when reality hits home, that might not be. You know, but if it's the best thing for you to step away, then that's what you do.
Yeah, which is obviously a good point. And then obviously in your videos as well, we noticed that you talk about being a single mom to your children, and the stigma attached to that, and how that can also affect people's mental health or, you know, outlook on life. What's your take on that?
I think it's confidence. And you know, like they say, confidence is a muscle and you grow it. It's like you work out, isn't it? You want to work your bicep, you go into the gym and you work them out, you know, every Wednesday. It's the same thing, you know. That's what it's about, confidence, and it's about overcoming and realizing that we're not alone. I know it's a little more slow in our culture in regards to, like, if you look at the Western culture and other ethnicities, they're over it, most, you know, but ours is kind of step by step thing. You just need to look around and just believe in yourself. And, you know, of course, moms, you know, single moms can do this, single fathers can do this, you know, and then obviously people are in different boats, if you like, and, you know, they're working together, you know, somehow their marriage fell apart, but, you know, they're kind of working together, which is fine. So, but like I said, you've got to resonate with your truth. So if you're doing it alone as a single father or a single mother, you just got to go out there and do it. And you need to be confident about it, because you don't want your kids watching you and, you know, you're kind of giving that impression that, oh no, I'm so afraid, I'm so timid, and I'm ashamed. You know, I don't ever want them to walk out and kind of, or come back home and say to me, Mum, are you ashamed of, you know, being a single mom? Not at all. I'm, you know, I'm as proud as, you know, parents within a successful marriage would be as a single parent.
In terms of over time, like everyone hears stories of, in terms of being a single parent, over time, do you think that the stigma is becoming more broken in terms of there's more respect for single parents as time has gone on in our culture? Do you think that's the case?
I think it's got to do with individuals, and it's got to do with their mindset. It has a lot to do with their background, has a lot to do with their experiences. So it's an individual concept of thought. It's not something that, you know, you could look at a whole family and yet there'll be like 2-3 people that might agree with the whole, you know, like being a single parent, and there'll be like about 3-4 people that won't agree, you know. So I think it's down to individuals. I do think that it has grown, and it's more public. You know, people are going more public about it. Definitely. And I think that's because we don't live, you know, like when our parents came here, they were like the first generation. And the first generation really did kind of work together. You know, the mum had a certain role, dad had a certain role, and they made it work, you know. And in today's day and age, it's so much diversity, it's not the same. So divorce is more likely to happen. Now, you know, we live in a different day and age.
And like through your journey throughout the whole process, was there anything that you found helped you, like an outlet to deal with all the stress that was going on at that time?
So I think it's definitely being a single parent helps, because I always look at my daughters now, and I always think to myself, you know, I want to be the change that I want to see. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I want to see this change, but I want someone to do it, because that's hypocrisy, isn't it? Or you don't have to yourself. So I think like that's important. And obviously I have a lot of faith in God. I think if I'm doing something and I'm not hurting someone, I'm not intentionally you know, trying to do someone damage, I think then it's fine. Then I need to do what's right for me, and I that God will always be with me. So I have like faith, a lot of faith in God,
which is good. And in terms of the videos that you release on your YouTube page, how did that come about? Like what inspired you to do it?
So it's kind of like for a long time I stayed quiet, hence the name Breaking the Silence.
Yeah.
I stayed so quiet and I felt ashamed.
Yeah.
And then here and there you talk to people and there's like that little kind of spark or light. Someone will kind of be like, no, but you know, actually you're doing a great job, or you know, it's not talked about a lot. Or then I'll talk to someone who's going through something similar and I'd see myself in that person.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh no, like they're going through what I've been through and I'm kind of away from it now, but I felt for them. And I just wanted to build like a network, or you know, some sort of a platform where people felt as though, you know, they could just feel normal.
Yeah.
You know, because that's, for some reason within our culture, even now, people will just throw those tiny little comments in, and you just think to yourself, oh no, you feel so lonely at that point.
Yeah.
And I don't for anybody. Now, obviously, I can't eliminate it, but I think I'm doing my bit.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good what you said in terms of making people feel normal, because there's always that stigma attached to whatever it is. If you're not your traditional family household that observes the same values, it's not normal. Yeah, and I think it's good what you're doing in terms of trying to be that role model, trying to be that change, rather than having someone from the outside be that change for you. I think it's quite inspiring, really. But in terms of your YouTube page, there's another video that sort of caught my interest, and I think it might be inspirational in terms of the carrying on the bloodline. You talk about how it's traditionally the male, so the son carries on the bloodline, but the daughter doesn't. Do you want to just slightly explain that video to the viewers that haven't watched it yet?
Yeah, so basically I have 2 daughters, and originally I come from quite a traditional family as well. And you know, you always hear this like, in regards to being the heir of the family, it has to be a male. But then you know, birth to daughters as well. Yeah. And yeah, they do get married off, but they don't disappear. Yeah. No, they don't disappear. It's not like, oh yeah, you get married and now she's going off to, I don't know, a fairy wonderland or something. You know, it doesn't work like that. She's still within the network. And I think things have changed so much now, and it's inspiring because I put this on my Instagram page, and you know, like in regards to carrying on the bloodline and everything, and I wanted to see how others felt about it as well. So many men and women got involved, and they were just like, you know, what is it in the sex of a child? It's not. It's whichever child's going to, you know, like carry on their legacy or even the family's legacy, and that could be a female or that could be a male. You know, obviously I'm not throwing out sons. Sons are also part of the network. That's contradictory. You know, but daughters are as well. And you know, a child carries your DNA, whether a daughter or whether a son. So they're part of your DNA. So sorry, they're part of your bloodline. You know, and that's the way I see it. But I think that will take time. Yeah. Time as well, but that will take time.
Yeah, and I think it's sort of inspiring in terms of your personal journey as well, having sort of the anxiety, the stress, and then now turning it into a positive outlet through YouTube channel. I think it is quite inspiring.
Yeah, and like you said, it helps women or men in situations like that probably don't feel comfortable speaking up, but hearing your videos might be like, oh, I can, you know, connect with you and understand, and it might help them. So we do think it's really good what you do.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that is the aim. That's the aim. And I you know, I really want to like reach out to people, but then speaking about, you know, what people are doing is really good. What you guys are doing is absolutely great. I didn't know about this side of, you know, what you do. And I'm so happy that I am able to kind of be a part of it right now.
No, you're welcome.
Thank you. It's because you do the work for the purpose of helping others, not as a but genuinely there with the intent to help someone who's going through the same situation. And I like your neutrality of, it doesn't have to be a single mother, it could be a single father. It doesn't have to be the woman that's affected by abuse, it could be the male. And I like that sort of gender neutrality.
Yeah, definitely, because it can be, I think, you know, we speak of shame. There could be a man going through something abusive, but shame resonates with him because he's the man. He's not meant to be going through, you know, anything like that. But it does happen, and I think I was speaking to a friend, and he's a male as well, and he said to me, he goes, in regards to the biggest kind of toll of suicide is males, is not females, you know. So there's a lot that I think people need to think about, you know, like we seem to put tags on relationships, on sexes, and it's not actually what's going on.
Yeah.
If we look at the statistics.
Yeah.
So I think it's important, you know, to be fair. So I think that's why I like to talk about it for females, but then also for males, because we're all people at the end of the day.
Exactly. And obviously, I think you also did touch on it in one of your videos where you're talking about working from home and having to adjust hours. And I know we've spoke about it. How have you found lockdown? Obviously, being a single mom, doing your job and looking after your daughters, how has that been for you?
Oh God. You know, it has been hard. There have been times where I've just been like, I should just take a week off so that I can breathe, because you know, you're at home, and then it's like work constantly, and then you're getting trained, you're doing your meetings, and then you're just working very hard, and then because you're at home, you kind of like leave your, I don't know, your study, your bedroom or whatever, and then you go to normality of life, and it's like, that's it, housework, food, you know, walk the dog or put the bins out, and it's just like, it's so crazy. It's really intense, but I do think it's also becoming normality now, because it's been like going for about 4 to 6 months for some people. So I think some people are so, you know, I think it's become normalized, isn't it? As well. Okay. Yeah, I think that there are ways of balancing it out. And I think those little like breaks are so important, you know, just to kind of come away from your PC. And try to go for a walk. I think that's really important.
So it's good that you've mentioned that, like having the little breaks or going for a walk. What other sort of tips or tools did you use to sort of ease yourself into it? Because it was a sudden change for everyone. It was like being social and active, going to work, and then all of a sudden you're staying indoors. So apart from the walks, what else did you find that was useful to help you cope?
So I don't watch TV a lot, but I try to pick something on the channels that I would be interested in. And then, you know, a day where you can't go for a walk, because I have had days where I'm so tired and I can't go for a walk. So after doing the housework, feeding myself and the kids, all I want to do is sit down in front of the TV. But then I'm the type of person, you know, that when you've got the TV control in the hand and you're just like flicking through channels because I can't find anything. So I tried to do my homework before. Okay, yeah, this is something I might want to watch, and then you just stand, and then, you know, like 40 minutes or, you know, maybe 2 episodes, like 2 later, and then it's like you get to relax because you kind of just switched off from work and you're doing something for yourself, which is important. And I think that's the balance that is hard right now, isn't it? Doing something for yourself, because everyone is at home with their spouse, with their kids, or with their in-laws, or whatever it is, you know, with their mum and dad, and finding me time is difficult.
Which is true. So we do feel that's important, any which way, just to relax and switch off from the new normality will help, you know, a lot for everybody, we feel. Yeah, and we just want to thank you for your time today, Sundeep. We really do appreciate it. So we're going to quite wrap there, but there was quite some interesting topics in terms of like being a single parent, in terms of the gender neutrality and coping with like periods of stress and anxiety in your life. There was quite a lot to take in there. And I just want to thank you once again. And for anyone that hasn't seen Sundeep's channel for Breaking the Silence, the information will be in our comment section below. Yeah, so thank you for joining us today, Sundeep. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.